Hello.
And hello indeed. And that immediately sets up the start of the stream. I'm glad to have you back, Leavin.
Yeah, glad to be back. Sadly, without a camera this time. Having some trouble with that, but
I will fix the name of your camera then, because previously it said error caster not found. Let's say error Leavin not found.
yeah.
Perfect. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the last stage of the qualifier 4 of the Open Tour Benelux. We are about to head into the quarter-finals against 4Elements Scuttle Squad. And we've played them 2 times before, and 2 times before that didn't go so well. So I'm excited to see what they can do to make this happen this time. My name is Thomas, also known as Tom Sonic, and I'm again, just like yesterday, together with Leavin. And I'm very happy that you're here to join me. Have you seen some games of 4Elements?
Yeah, I'm actually quite close to the team. I'm friends with a lot of the players, but they are definitely one of the favorites for this week's tournament. They have gotten to the finals already twice in earlier weeks, and now that the two other big teams in Nerf Guildford and Iron Squad Academy are not here, it's them and Stardom Gaming Club really going for that win today.
Yes, and it's indeed very early in the morning, like people are saying. Morning, I say. Our sleep schedules are not okay, but we are about to head into the game already. And I just cannot wait for this to happen because it's kind of becoming a small rivalry between the two teams now. Both of the games, both of the series actually against 4 Elements, they lost 2-1 in a very tense third match, and every time it's just not enough. So they really need to try and figure out, hey, we've played this team so many times now and we couldn't win. What can we do to change those odds?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it seems to have been working. The first time they played them, it was in week two, and then they got knocked out in the round of 16. And then last week they got all the way to the semifinals before getting knocked out by 4 Elements Club Squad. So, well, especially, like, I really feel that THRLL has been improving a lot. So that, well, today we'll see an even closer series against them.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it for you guys. Lovely. And I am very curious to see what Neos is going to bring out of his drafting hat today. Because yesterday we saw a lot of similar compositions, and we had 2 games actually where we actually said, the enemy is kind of a better draft, it seems, or easier to execute, but they still managed to win yesterday. Can you nail down how that happened?
Well, it was most of the time where the enemy would pick a more teamfight heavy draft, while THRLL would look for a bit more snowball style comp where they just want to get kills and then deal way more damage than everyone. And that's also what they did especially in the last game against Dynasty, where Dynasty had, in theory, a much better comp when they actually got into the mid game around the 15-minute mark. THRLL just beat them in every single team fight available. So they just showed that they were superior in the team fighting phase.
Yeah, the mechanical solo performances have been outstanding, especially on the side of what I did not necessarily expect the top side. Amy Way has been popping off yesterday, as well as the entirety of Twente, but I really want to put some focus on him because in past qualifiers, he had been kind of on tank duty, playing the Ornn, playing the Malphite, but yesterday we saw a lot of aggressive picks if you don't count that Karma game.
Yeah,
It's
I mean
interesting to
it's
see.
yeah. He started the day off with a Cyan pick, so was still tank duty, but he completely demolished his lane opponent in the Malphite, where he was had like 1,000 gold after 15 minutes already. So he was playing it really well. And then when he got his hands on the Aatrox and on the Gnar, he was just almost 1v9ing some games even.
Yeah, on the Aatrox, I believe it was on the Aatrox, the insane healing, and on the Gnar, the insanely dominant performance with the annoying poke and in the end, very good ultimates that he could find onto the enemy backline. So let's see if that's gonna happen again. I see a link. Need to look at our interview. Oh, I'm getting. You know what? I'm just gonna press the link and see what it is. Oh, it's an interview about the game, I guess. They need a minute. Beautiful. See, the people from For Elements are very, very nice people. They always meme and are nice in chat. I really like it.
Yeah, I actually saw them show up yesterday in the stream as well to support the stream, so they are definitely very nice people. And yeah, fun to talk with as well. But same for, of course, the thrill people. And now I think we'll almost get into draft, and then we'll actually see what everyone will play.
Yes, and we are getting into drafts. The first game of the day, we had side selection because we ended first in the group, and we chose for the first game to go red side, despite blue being the higher win rate. It's interesting to see that they keep going for a red side, but it probably means they have something up their sleeve to say, hey, you can pick whatever you want. We have two answers for that.
Yeah, it means that on red side you always get that last counter pick, plus you can counter the first pick coming out. So if you are comfortable in certain matchups, well, okay, maybe we can give you like the Olaf, which is still sometimes a bit strong. We know what to play against it. We are comfortable taking that matchup, and we want to beat you in that.
Yeah, we're looking at the bans right now, and we immediately see three junglers getting banned, and also a Nunu ban.
Yeah, it's. I think that's mainly because Zaragonas. He. I think he got to almost grandmasters playing just Nunu, so he's a bit of a Nunu one trick. So I think it's just mainly a target ban towards Zaragonas.
It would have been fun to see a Nunu in higher levels of play. You don't see that quite often, but they're like, we respect ban that one trick. And Seraphine and Kaisa very strong first picks on blue side. So let's see what they're going to pick now. And they opting for the Rel.
Yeah, Brel it was played a lot by Mahonix in week 3. He played it, I think, on the second day 6 out of 8 games. So he's very comfortable on the champion. Can do a lot as an engage, but can also peel quite well. And now we see the Karma coming out. Could go back in the top lane. Could go bot lane as well, or in the mid lane. Can go everywhere.
Yeah, and they see the Rel and they're like, now we run it, and the Udyr gets picked up, and of course it's immediately countered by that Skarner. You see this quite a lot nowadays when Udyr gets picked, the enemy picks Skarner, or the other way around. Provides a lot of opportunities for them to utilize that ultimate in the best way possible.
Yeah, Udyr and Skarner are kind of similar champions. They just want to run at your carries and stun them. But well, Udyr can just run at all 5 of them and stun them once. What Skarner can do, he can just run at one of your carries and immediately take them with you. And we see the Vayne being picked up as well, which I think is a very big comfort pick for Mauki. I actually saw him yesterday play, and he picked Ghost for some reason, and then he got a quadra kill at 10 minutes, so he's definitely very comfortable in the champion. And
Oh,
yeah.
that's scary. A Ghost Vayne running at you with a lot of items, that's not something that you want to, but the Vayne is specifically picked against the Udyr because it's one of the few champions that actually can out damage Udyr very, very quickly without being touched if she plays it correctly. But we see the Alistar being picked up in return. It's very good against Rel, and against Vayne it's decently fine as well, and that means Karma is going to either top or mid.
Yeah, I mean, Alistar, I always feel it's nice to play against Vayne because Vayne is such low range, so you can just run at them. But the one thing Vayne can do, she has the E to shoot Alistar out of his Headbutt Pulverize combo, which can completely nullify the Alistar if it's played right by Mauki.
Yeah, we still need an ADC on the side of Twente, and that pool is gonna get probably shortened a bit as the Samira is gonna get banned as well. We have a few options left, like a Misfortune, a Jin, or an Ashe. Those are the three that come to mind right away, because the pool is getting shortened quite heavily.
Yeah, and they might want to look for an Ashe. As Ashe, of course, is very long range. It's good at punishing Vayne in the bot lane, and can also work with the setup you already have with an Udyr and Alistar. You throw in an Ashe arrow, and you can just chase to see someone until they die, basically.
Yeah, and Yone is gonna get banned from. Oh, Senna was something I forgot to mention. It's a
Oh, yeah.
very dominant AD carry as well, with the increasing range over time. And with Alistar, it's decently safe. And Xayah is the champion I also didn't mention. And that is actually a very, very good decision if you ask me. Because Skarner can click on you when you ult.
Yeah, and basically same thing. Rel, if Rel jumps at you and you just use your ult, you don't get pulled towards her and knocked up and stunned. You can just ult and then run away, and then you're safe. Which nullifies a lot, but they go for the Sivir instead.
They opt for the Sivir instead, and the spell shield does kind of the similar thing, and it also provides even more movement speed for the Udyr.
Yeah, of course. Now it's just like one of the classic run at you comps where Karma Mantra E, and then with Sivir Ultimate, you just go really fast at them, and then Udyr just he might get close to 1,000 movement speed even. We see now Orianna being picked up as just a safe mid laner, and then probably not Rakan, but because they already have the Rel, but we'll see what they then pick in the top lane.
They were thinking about putting Vayne in the top lane by hovering in ADC, but last minute they decided, you know what, we're just gonna pick our mid laner and a traditional top laner instead, and go for it in that way. And Gragas is still open, which is a very good pickup here.
Yeah, of course, it's could still be a blind pick in the top lane because Karma can always go into the mid lane. But I think Gragas versus Karma, we saw it yesterday played by Dynasty in the same matchup, where Gragas was able to just stay quite even in lane because of his passive being able to heal a lot back up, and then has also some trade potential, and especially the disengage potential is very good. But then Victor as the last pick for Z.
Yeah, Victor is a champion that gets picked up quite frequently into Orianna as well. It's a stalemate safe lane. No one really has an edge, and it provides more of a control mage type for your team. Overall, if you look at the compositions, I think it's kind of similar. Blue team has a bit more team fighting presence due to the Gragas versus the Karma, but overall, I think they're pretty even comps.
Yeah, definitely both teams. I think they just want to look for picks first of all, because with the run at you comp, you can from THRLL you can easily just run at someone. Even Vayne, she has the E to create some distance, but if it's five people running at you, you only have one E, you're still gonna die. Same basically for Orianna. If you don't have a flash to get over a wall to safety, it's going to be very difficult to survive that. But I do think that if the comp of Scuttle Squad can get ahead, then Vayne will be a bit too strong to deal with because she can turn invisible and dance around all the damage coming out from THRLL.
Yeah, it's if you're Thrill Academy Twente, what you want to do is get rid of those Vayne and Orianna threats. Of course, the Shockwave is always a very dominant thing that you have to look out for. But how do they get on the backline? They can run it down with an Udyr, but that's basically the only way you get at that backline. And if you have a Skarner in front of you protecting that Orianna, I don't even think you can get on her.
Yeah, of course, whenever Udyr runs in, Skarner can just press ult, or Gragas can also stall for a long time, so it will be difficult, but I do think when Udyr gets onto the backline, the long range poke and follow up from Sivir and Victor will be very difficult to then dodge away from. But one other aspect we haven't really talked about is the wave clear from THRLL. They will be able to stall a game forever.
Yeah, with Sivir and Victor. Sivir is doubly one of the higher wave clearing champions, maybe even the best one there is. And when it's a Sivir late game, waves are non existent.
Yeah, that's. I think we saw it in back all the way in 2019 Spring LEC finals, where Fnatic ran a comp with Victor and Sivir, and they just stalled for 35 minutes. They were behind almost 10k at some point, but it was against G2. I think G2 could not end the game, and then well, it's 40 minutes. We are stronger now, and we just win the game.
Yeah, Reckless, a very fanatic Sivir player, if you can see the irony in that comment. I know for a fact the mechanic has been watching a lot of his streams lately, and his farm has gone up with quite a bit, substantially, I would say. So maybe he can grab some of those reckless tricks out of his sleeve on the Sivir.
Yeah, of course, Sivir being able to also peel a lot for herself and outranging Vayne, not by auto attacks in lane, but with the Q you can harass Vayne quite hard in the laning phase. And but one thing, the spell shield it always works against a single spell, but against Rel or Skarner, I don't know if it has that much of an effect because of Skarner. He can always just wait out to ult you until the spell shield has been used, and Rel she engages with three abilities at the same time, so dodging one does not really work.
Yeah, and it has to be if Sivir gets to the point where she gets the QSS as well. She is very very safe with the peel that Alistar provides for her as well. So we're probably gonna see the cow hugging Sivir at all times, because Sivir and Victor are gonna be the one that need to do the damage. Udyr can engage together with Karma and Sivir, who can set it up. It's a very team style composition. They really need to work together to make this work.
Yeah, definitely. The communication is needed because, well, if you have five people that want to run at you, you need to make sure that you run at the same target. If all five people run at a different target, then you're not going to be able to kill anyone, and then the damage from a Vayne will be unleashed. So, with proper communication, they will definitely be able to do it. But it's also what we have seen yesterday. They were always on the same page in team fights and could do a lot of things very well.
Yes, and we are now in loading screen, and we're gonna take a quick look at the runes and masteries if you see anything interesting. See double face rush on Udyr and Victor, Karma opting for summon Airy, lethal tempo on Sivir. That makes a lot of sense in my opinion. Do we see anything else that's weird? Not necessarily weird, but Skarner has face rush as well.
Yeah, of course, Skarner with Face Rush can be very difficult to deal with, but because what he does, he runs at someone, and then he does E, um, Smite Ultimate, then he procs Face Rush, and then he just zooms all the way back into his own team to then have, for example, a Victor or Karma in the middle of the enemy team who just immediately die.
Yeah, and this is gonna be a game, especially early on, where we really need to look at the Udyr and at the Skarner. Skarner is probably most effective when he is gonna hit the level 6 mark. So we're gonna see when he has that um, presence. I get a little message. A little did you know Victor's ult first proc cancel channels Skarner ult.
I think I've seen that before, but I don't know if it's the already the normal ult or if it has to be the upgraded ultimate. But that's definitely one thing you can play around. I'm not sure if the Skarner ult is actually a channel or if it can get it interrupted, but that will be interesting to see if it can actually do that, because that will be very nice to deal with then.
Yeah, I think it's an insta. If it sounds like this, it means that it's an insta silence for like 0.1 second. If you hit the Victor ultimate, then you automatically get silenced for a microsecond, which means the channeling will stop, I guess. Okay, I see now. Victor conjures an arcane singularity at the target location, dealing magic damage to enemies within the area and silence, disrupting their channeling. So if he's
Okay, well,
channeling and the first proc hits, then he gets out of the channel.
that is very nice to deal with, but then I do think that the Skarner will then try to more focus onto the Victor to make sure that, well, you can't use your ultimate if you're already silenced.
The more you know, you learn something new at Team THRLL stream every day.
Yeah,
Let's grab
we
all.
see maybe something's coming down, but Slimy Devils is still safe in his bush, does not walk out to look for that one word. It does mean that yeah, there's just been placed one ward so far at raptor camps from both sides, so they don't want to be invaded later on in the game. They might look for. Okay, yeah, I think C just wants to get some mana flow procs off early in the game, which can be really nice to have.
Yeah, and we don't see weird things happening level 1 now. The standard wards, bases, and oracle lenses are gonna get grabbed up. Starting at blue buff on the bottom side for the Udyr and Skarner on the blue buff on the top side, meaning that they will not pass each other in the very early stages.
Yeah, indeed. That means that yeah, in the top lane, you can't really gank Karma, I think, as a Skarner, because Karma will just shield herself and then uses the root to slow down the engage from a Skarner and then just run away. Well, in bot lane with a Rel, you have quite a lot of engage, so I think that's easier to then look for some ganks. Well, we see some early trading with the W from Rel.
Yeah, the aftershock proc negates a lot of damage for the Rel, so she doesn't take a bad trade for us. She jumps in forward again. Mahonix definitely knows the champion, has played it quite a lot of time, even though she has been released for not too long.
Yeah, indeed. can do a lot. One thing which is always really underappreciated is the shield Rel gets when she first jumps off her horse. It can be very huge then in trades because you just basically block 2 auto attacks worth of HP in the early game.
If we look at the CS, all the minions were grabbed up by Vayne already, so she has perfect CS so far, and Sivir only half of it. Of course, in the early stages, it's hard to CS with that much dominance of the Rel here, and with a level 2, it's not Alistar's really well power spike, because Amy is just trading a little bit in the top side.
Yeah, that's also what you can see. Not Rel, Karma can easily just run up, shield herself, and then get a root off, and get a lot more damage against a melee target like Gragas. Gragas will eventually be able to sustain the damage, but especially in the early levels when he does not have the mana to keep proccing his passive, it's going to be very difficult for him to stay healthy in the lane.
Yeah, we see exactly what we expected there to be. Oh, Slimy Devil headbutting the Rel away. But we see exactly what we expected. Udyr going top side, meaning Gragas froze under his tower, and other side as well, as we see gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, in the mid lane, but Zaragonis is there to protect his mid laner in Genny, so nothing will happen as of yet. Bot lane still already double the CS for Maoki compared to mechanics, so it's going very well for Scuttle Squid there. But yeah, a bit more trading. We saw that headbutt interruption in against the W from Rel. It's very easy to get off because while Rel's engaged range is actually quite large, the W area is very large. It's a very slow animation, so it gives Alistar a lot of time to interrupt the combo.
Has been doing quite well for himself, even if we look at the state of all the lanes. We don't really see that much of a difference, except in the bot lane, what is to be expected. And overall, it's pretty even.
Yeah, Greg is still staying even in CS in the early levels. That's very well done. In jungle, Udyr clears a bit faster than Skarner, which is to be expected. Udyr's base damages are very high, so you can clear really fast in the early game. Mid lane, Genny already had his first back, so he will have a tear and boots, which means that he can stay in lane for quite a while and just dance around. But now in the top lane, we might see a gank.
Yeah, Greg is walking up here, and Skarner is here to follow. Bolisam already connects, so Amy is slow. We might need to flash here. A teleport is coming out, and then Z coming on to help. Gragas is being slow. The W blink best down, but now the teleport comes as well. Skarner is here. Udyr is going on his way, and it's a very long fight and a very scary one. Xeragonis is running away now, and QTKT decides to run them down. Can he do something before they get away to safety? It seems like everyone is gonna walk out, and they only trade teleports.
Yeah, teleport trade, I think that does not really matter, but in the mid lane it is a very large wave for Genny, which means, or it's a very large wave from Genny, so he will have to, yeah, no, now it's Mwodo TPing back in the mid lane to not lose CS, because if you have such a large wave, it will kill the enemy wave really fast, which will deny a lot of CS to yourself, but in top lane we see now the shockwave going in, and Genny going in for the solo kill, cannot get it. Yet Amy being able to run away with the movement speed, Genny chases, flashes forward, and gets the first blood.
Yeah, and QTKT is in as well, flashing forward, stunning Jenny. And that's going to be a lot of damage. Phoenix stands, no mana on the side of Jenny, so that will be a kill for QTKT eventually. And that's, in the end, a 1-for-1 trade, but Orianna and Udyr both burned flashes.
Yeah, Amy already burning the flash in an earlier play to get away from Edmund all the way at the start of that play in the top lane. Now we see that the junglers QTKT is already a level up on Zaragonis, and that's quite big.
That is very big, but there is one other thing that's very big here, and that's that Karma did not use her TP. Udyr pushed that wave out immediately, and so it bounces back, and Amy doesn't have to teleport, meaning teleport advantage will be there for Twente in the next coming minutes. And with Vayne and Rel pushing so far up in the bot lane, that leaves open a lot of options.
Yeah, and there is already ward placed all the way in the farthest bush from the red side, so they can definitely look for something. But now Maoki and Mahonix seems to be trapped a bit, looking to get that Scuttlecraft ball. C is waiting in the wings.
Yeah, look at the top side. Karma's already backing off to her turret to look for a possible teleport. They know this is going to happen as well. But Mahonix is just going to get burned down before there's even a teleport going on, so Amy just walks back into the lane, and that's a free Drake for Twente.
Yeah, they it seemed that this bot lane of Scuttle Squad they just wanted to get the Scuttle Crab for themselves to get some extra gold, but they did not have a priority in the mid lane. Z was already roamed down and waiting in the bush, while QT Katie was around as well. Saragonis was still clearing his top side, so he could not help out, and so it was an easy 4v3, and then there's basically nothing you can do.
No, very well done. Very good reactions from Twente. And this is way different that we saw in the first two series against For Element. They're taking the initiative and they're taking the lead very early on.
Yeah, we've seen Engage coming down from Mahonix. He gets interrupted. Maugi tries to get the Condemn into the wall, but misses it just. Zaragonis has hit level 6, so he will be very scary now in when he goes for some ganks. But QTKT going in the bot lane does get spotted by a ward.
They know that it's gone, but they help it pulverize. Oh, yeah. It's the only Alistar mechanic you need to nail down, and he manages to fail it. Now Rel is looking for something else, as Skarner is there. Has that level 6, so Skarner is now an actual champion.
Yeah, but in the mid lane, Atmawoda has pushed in the top wave and almost ults Z all the way into Kenny, but he flashes away just in time to dodge away from the Gragas ult. But in the bot lane, we saw Mahonix trying to go in, but Slimy Devil and Mechanics backed off just in time. So nothing will happen, but it was very close.
Yeah, nothing yet, and it is very good to see that there is so much prio in almost every lane. Of course, Z needed to burn that flash there, the Gragas with the roam. Could have been communicated better, but they probably thought Gragas was just going base, as our attention now goes to the Rift Herald.
Yeah, Rift Herald will be next objective. It's still 3 minutes to trade, so there's no trading going to happen. In the top lane, we saw that Admiral was able to get some prio and look for a roam, but now that he has done that, he's already used all of his mana, which means it's now a lot more difficult for him to push in the wave. And QTKT is already moving up towards the rift. The Alt War Saragonas is still waiting in the bot river.
Yeah, and again, that TP from Karma is still available, so even if they don't opt to go for Rift Herald, they can look for something in the bot lane. But they do decide to start the Rift Herald. Victor is a little bit late, is walking into lane right now. But Oriana is basing and doesn't have TP, so that means automatic prio over Rift.
Yeah, it's already you saw the QTKT. He's a level up on even Admawodo. That means that Admawodo he has been looking for those roams a bit too much and losing quite a lot of experience in the top lane. That does mean he will have quite a rough time, but eventually he will still be a Gragas who scales into the late game and become way too tanky.
And we see some top lane trades coming in. Karma going decently low, but Gregs is fighting in the minion wave, taking a lot of damage. And Rift Herald is being picked up by Udyr. And where do you think this Rift Herald is going to get dropped?
They could maybe try to look in the top, push Admiral away from turret and then look for first turret, but it can also just be used in the mid lane, give some extra gold over to the sea. The one place where they should not use it is in the bot lane because it's just quite difficult for them to even get prio in that bot lane, so where Scuttle Squad could just easily push out waves.
And the Moonstone Renewer already being completed by Amy Way, and he still has the teleport available while Karagas doesn't. So we have to make use of that somehow, otherwise that whole timer is for naught.
Yeah, it's only about a minute more for Admiral to get his TP back. Both mid laners, like Genny and C, will have theirs back basically now, which means that we can have a 5-man bot fight or something crazy happen like that. It is still the open tour, so there will be some crazy plays made. Scuttle Squad spot lane backing off because well they know we might be a bit too far up. They have TPs now. If there's wars back in the lane, then we're dead.
Yeah, it's the open tour Benelux, like you said, but some things are even going to get picked up by bigger leagues. The LEC now playing Seraphine mid, something that came to be in the open tour. But now, like you said, there are a lot of people bot side looking for something that they can do. But QTKT is being spotted out, so they decided to opt not to go for it.
Yeah, indeed. But QTKT he walks into the into the blue side jungle and uses the Scryer's Bloom to get some vision. He spots out Zaragonis in the bot lane, so that means that the bot lane from THRLL will just play a bit safer. Now it seems that Udyr is just running in, while on the top lane there's some small trading.
Yeah, we're looking at some training right now, and in the bottom lane, Rift Herald is going to get dropped to funnel some gold into the Sivir. It's a bit unorthodox, but they cannot manage to burst Rift Herald down before he gets a charge up, so there is still a little bit of gold going to Sivir and Udyr, and I also think Alistar got a part of the gold.
Yeah, I mean, Alistar with gold is not always what you want, but he can get very tanky with it. Now QTKT has to run away from Zaragoza, who has the ult, but C is already moving down, so it is a 4v3 for now, but Genny is on the way.
What I was about to say, they might look for something here. Sivir, of course, still has that ultimate available, but they decided not to go for it, knowing that Orianna is away. And when they run in like that, a shockwave is a very easy target to hit.
Yeah, both teams want to desperately get that Drake. I think the single ocean Drake can be very helpful for the likes of Edmawodo, who has to be careful of all the poke coming down from Amy Way on the Karma. But now it is Scuttle Squad who gets the first run onto the Drake. But they have to be careful because they will get collapsed on from every side.
Yeah, and that's the teleports coming in already. Slimy Devil waiting there for Gragas to spawn. Pulverizing him up, and that's a big ultimate coming down. QTKT needs to run for dear life. Slimy Devil is fine still. No cask available. Edmawodo body slamming in, and everyone is still alive. Moonstone doing a lot of work for the side of Twente. And that's a dragon and a TP, but nothing else.
Yeah, it was a very close fight. Multiple flashes, or oh, not multiple, only one flash burned by Slimy Devil. No flashes burned from the side of Scuttle Squad, so it was still a relatively quiet team fight in that regard. But of course, the wall in the jungle being very helpful so that no one could chase them down. Very close fight, but I think Scuttle Squad trading a TP for a single Drake, that will be worth.
Yeah, and it's actually a miracle that no one died there. Z might spot out Orianna here. He does so, popping that ultimate as well, but Jenny can just walk it out with the face rush proc. Really smart by Jenny that he procs face rush instead of insta flashing.
Yeah, of course. One thing that did happen, C used this TP a bit earlier to get into the lane before the Drake spawned, I think. So that means that Henny had the TP advantage, but now had to TP back into lane to catch a wave. So there goes that point to talk about. Top lane, yeah, definitely. Amy Way still has a lot of prio being able to just harass the Gragas in the top lane for now. And yeah, it's already 2 mythics completed for the side of THRLL, while Scuttle Squad is still stuck on 0.
Yeah, we have the Chem Tank and the Moonstone Renewer completed, and that's very nice to like set up things and sustain, but you want that damage of course to go along with it. So that's why the fights are going pretty darn even up until now. And a flash going forward from Rel, the stun proccing already, but QTKT is here to follow up. Mahonix is being headbutted backwards, and QTKT is just running down the vein, using the ultimate, but cannot find a kill. And they're giving the kill onto Z, and that's 2 kills for Twente, and that's a little bit too far up from Pro Elements.
Yeah, they thought they could just take the 2v2, but it was not a 2v2 at all. QTKT waiting undeterred in fog of war until Scuttle Squad would engage, and then he could just run down Mauki while Mahonix was stuck fighting Mechanics and Slimy Devil. Z had prio on the mid lane, so just roamed down immediately and managed to pick up the kill onto Mahonix.
Yeah, and Greg is now going bot lane to catch that wave, but they're missing an entire wave on the top side of the map. And Vayne and Rel will probably go there now to go against Amy Way.
Yeah, of course. I think it's a bit easier for Mauki and Mahonix to deal with Amy Way, while Edmawodo can just stand under his turret and defend waves against Mechanics and Slimy Devil if that were to happen. But it seems that Mechanics and Slimy Devil are running towards the mid lane instead.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the Soul Drake, what is going to happen, and that's going to be a Mountain Drake. Which team would benefit most of that?
I think it's a team with 3 tanks instead of 2 tanks, so Scuttle Squad, but of course both teams work really well with it. I think Alistar is very strong because of the extra resistances he gets from his ultimate, and then with the Mountain Drake on top, he just gets insanely tanky, even for support. But at Mamodo and the Gragas, I think he will like it a lot as well because of how tanky a Gragas will get in the late game.
Yeah, and some nice lane swaps from 4 elements, make it so they grab Rift Herald for free, and Z needs to go there, but now Z is just fighting at Mawoto straight up, body slamming away. He still has his cask available to knock him back, and that is exactly what he's going to do. In the end, just some ultimates and abilities traded, nothing major burns.
Yeah, of course. Yamamoto has his mythic now, so is a lot more tankier than he was before. So he can just walk up, clear the wave, trade some damage, and just run away like the fat man he is. On Gragas, not in real life. I don't know anything about that. But yeah, it's also now with the chem tank being completed by Zaragonas, means that he can definitely start running down Z or mechanics to get some kills for themselves.
Yeah, you see items coming in slowly. Leandri's Anguish also completed on Z, on the Victor. And that's going to be very good to deal with the Skarner and the Gragas. Sivir as well with the Kraken Slayer. They have a lot of champions that can burst through the tanks as well. So in the composition itemized round out, they're doing very well.
Yeah, of course, it's almost 3,000 gold lead, but the Drakes are more important, I think. If Skull Squad will be able to pick up this Drake, and the next one then will be very difficult to deal with, but they have to secure the Drakes first. They are in position and can burn it down quite fast with the damage from Vayne, but I think that THRLL instead just trading for the mid lane turret and being able to get some prio with that.
And now we have an engaged head, the pulverize coming in at Mawoto, and he tries to get away, almost dead, and now manages to finally kill him. Rel flashing forward, hitting 4-man with the ultimate, and that is a major fight for 4 elements. QTK flashing away, but cannot find the escape. Monkey can kill as well. Mechanics looking to do what he can, finding the Q into Monkey. Monkey flashing forward, finding the last hit onto Slimy Devil, and that's 3 kills for 4 elements, and the fight that Twente initiated backfires very hard.
Yeah, at the moment he did get caught out a bit, but because it was in such a small corridor, Honix was able to get a perfect engage onto 4 people with then the shockwave on top. And that means that Vayne, Maoki still untouched, being able to just take down the enemy champions one by one. And that's a 3-for-1 trade for Skull Squad.
Yeah, and they also take the dragon and in return the mid tower had been healed by Twente. But in the end, that's not the thing that you want to do. I was actually surprised they were going for that major engage in the first place.
Yeah, of course. I mean, at Mawoto, he did step up a bit too far, but because he is Gragas and he is so tanky, he threw out the ult right before he got killed, being able to split up everyone from THRLL for a bit. That meant that Maoki could already get some free hits, and then with indeed the very nice engage from Mahonix, which they didn't really think about because he was standing in a bush that was unwarded, I think. You could just jump over the wall and use the deadly Rel old W combo with an Orianna Shockwave on top to basically win the fight.
Yeah, that's exactly how you want the fights to go if you are a 4 elements fan. Rel with a perfect engage, and Mahonix has been smurfing this entire qualifier, not only today but the past couple of weeks as well, so we have to give him some credit there.
Yeah, of course, being the one of the strongest teams in this open tour, they already are one of the teams to qualify for the closed circuit. If THRLL is basically qualified, but they can only be knocked out in, I think, one scenario that's possible. So if they are able to secure this series when then they are secure to go to the closed circuit, then it will be very nice for them.
Yeah, the chances of being eliminated now are very low, but it would be a giant confidence boost if they manage to go all the way today to set the tone for the next closed circuit that's about to happen. As we see 4 elements blowing out that Rift Herald in the bottom lane, and they're pushing that right now, and Twente needs to reply somehow.
Yeah, of course, it does seem that Scottish Foot they have a better positioning in the fight because they just want to front to back create basically 1v1s for Maoki to just burn down everyone on the team. So if they get the inner route onto the turrets, they can definitely be able to force them down.
Yeah, and 4 elements now gets 2 towers for basically nothing in return, getting that cold more and more even to the point that it's stalemate. And when it's stalemate and they're looking at a proper 5v5 fight over an objective, 4 elements does have the edge.
Yeah, of course, but then it's a bit more difficult for the squad of THRLL also to actually get those 5v5. So even though the gold is in favor for THRLL, with the Drakes slightly in favor for Scuttle Squad, and that being also the win condition probably means that it will be a difficult game for THRLL to win.
Yeah, it's all about ease of execution, and the ease of execution on the composition of Twente is not that easy. You have to basically
Yeah.
run it down and find and engage onto that. And we talked about this in Champion Select that if you are behind, and or if you're even as well, how do you get onto Oriana or Vayne if Udyr is being stopped? You don't.
Yeah, you have to get either a flank with Slimy Devil or Cutie Katie, maybe have some distraction. But one thing that Scuttleswood have been doing over the past qualifiers, they have gone very aggressive and sometimes a bit over aggressive. So if you can maybe bait out a bad engage from the side of Scuttleswood, and then when all the abilities are down, then you can get a nice engage.
And they might look for a pick right now. There's no on the hunt available for Sivir. But they decide not to do it. It's a bit of a stare down contest. They don't know Cutie Katie is here, and Slimy Devil just walks up. Now getting speed up, finding engage onto Jenny, but that's all they can do. Just ahead with Pulverize. Cutie Katie slapping the warp, but now there's a TP behind. And Ralph going forward, hitting 4 people. The shockwave hits as well. Mechanics is already dead. And now Greg is doing what he can on the backhand side, trying to find a kill on Slimy Devil. He flashes way into safety. Aim away Cutie and Z are walking it out. But that's the next dragon going over to 4 Elements Scuttle Squad.
Yeah, again, a very nice engage by Mahonix being able to get 3 people, and then, of course, with Kenny with a nice follow-up with the shockwave, it meant that Mechanics was all the way in the hands of Mauki, basically. Also, I think it was the Greg Assault on top as well. The Skarner ult did not even have to be used to pull the carry into the enemy team.
Yeah, and that's just the composition. Cutie Katie might find Atmavodo here. Atmavodo just walks past him. It doesn't see the blue of being hit, and Cutie is now fighting him. But the rest of 4 Elements is looking to do and return. Karma is in the bush trying to TP. If the body slam connects, oh, and he gets stopped out of the TP. So unfortunate, condemns him into the wall, and that's a kill going to be picked up by the Vayne. I'd like to say yes, in the end, is going to over to the Vayne.
Yeah, and now the gold is dead even, but the side of Scotland now are starting up the Baron. They do it very fast with the Vayne damage. Already 2 items. The Cutie Katie tries to run in, but he will just keep getting knocked away by Atmamodo and Mahonix, so it will be difficult, but I think... Okay, very nice cast.
The body slam going in, the Slimy Devil is being kept in the background. Now the shockwave coming on as well. Mahonix with the knock up and Mechanics trying to run away. But the body slam almost connects as well. He can run it out with the on the hunt, but Mauki is there. Has the research from the Q and the 3rd auto attack. He gets Mechanics as well. That's a triple kill for the Vayne, a triple kill for 4 Elements, and the Baron going over to them as well.
Yeah, very well played. They just waited out the engage for from THRLL. And then when they went up a bit too far, very nice cast by Atmawodo. Just getting everyone split up meant that Mauki could already take down the first target, and then with a nice shockwave, plus a nice engage again from Mahonix on the REL. 4 more kills, plus a Baron for Scuttle Squad.
Yeah, now the situation is looking very, very, very bad if you are Twente. The ease of execution is just not there, and they had to go for that Baron play. So no, if we go on like this, we are going to lose. We are going to get outskilled at this pace. So we have to try, and unfortunately for them, that was a perfect cask from the Gragas.
Yeah, of course. That's always what Vayne likes in team fights. She wants the enemy team to just split up, so she can take everyone down one by one. And Kask is very good at doing that. It can throw 1 person towards you, 1 person to the side, and 1 all the way away from the fight, which means that, well, Vayne might be quite squishy if she gets engaged on by multiple people. If that is quite impossible because of the greatest Kask.
And Cutie now trying to run away, going onto the Vayne. But he has QSS available, finally uses it, tries to get away, cannot flash out to safety. The damage is just too much for 4 Elements. And now they can just push top lane with that Baron and power minions and try to break open up the base.
Yeah, it's okay. Another Kask. MEWay now has to run away, flashes out of the fight, but Mahonix just running back at them gets knocked back, but I think it's just going to be another turret for Scuttle Squad.
Yeah, and Rel Oriana, both of them setting up so many great plays, and Atmavoda doing what he can to find those great casks onto the members of Twente, and they're executioning their champions very well.
Yeah, of course, they know exactly what their champions will want to do in the team fights, what their role is. And with Admiral sometimes you need Gragas to be the main engage, but I think mainly here it's okay. Well, first we get a very nice engage. Mahonix is a bit too far and gets taken down. Now QTKT wants to run at Jenny, gets the stun down. Damage from Saber is there. Now it's a double kill already. Will this be a triple kill? It's gonna look like it. Admiral is still too far in the front, tries to dash away, but gets taken down by Z. Now QTKT running after Mauki. Zargonis is there to protect him, gets condemned into wall, and it looks like Mauki and Zargonis can run away, but it is a 3-4-0 trade by Twente, while QTK still flashes forward, gets another stun, but gets ulted by Zaragonis. It's a trade kill for Mauki. Zaragonis looks to be giving up his own knife. Shutdown for Z, and it's a 4-1 trade, going to be a 5-1 once Zaragonis gets rooted up. He tries to stun and just stall even more time. He just won't die. He just will keep running away. Maybe a THRLL will actually give up on the chase, but it's a bit too far from Scuttle Squad.
Yeah, there were no real objectives to take, so they're just trying to get the shutdowns onto the members of 4 Elements Scuttle Squad. And I saw a 1000 gold shutdown going over to Z, so that's going to be a great pickup for him. Having that Lich Bane now completed as well, Victor is going to do a lot of damage. Has almost 12k gold in total acquired this game.
Yeah, he picked up one very big shutdown on Mauki and one more kill, meaning that he is very strong right now. 3 items completed compared to Jenny with only 2.
We're fighting on
Mechanics
2
almost killing
fronts.
Jenny. That's very badly positioned now. Mechanics will just run down Mamoto, who runs all the way to the top lane direction to stall some time, while QTKT tries to run down Zarkonis but just gets stunned up. Admiral still running away, trying to get out. Will stall for quite a bit of time. Might actually be able to get out now.
Yeah, if he lives, that's very, very bad if you are Twente. It was a great initiation in the beginning. Shockwave misses and they immediately go ahead and say, hey, you don't have your big cooldowns, we're going to fight you right now. And that's what they did. Unfortunately, they didn't grab any kills, but they did grab that dragon, which means Soul doesn't go over to 4 Elements.
Yeah, and that's very good. Now it will be also the wave clear from CM Mechanics. They will be able to stall out the game to get their own items. Scuttle Squad is still ahead, but it's only by 2.5k. That is basically nothing when you are 30 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very close game.
And I love to come back to your point earlier, like 4 Elements is a very strong team in the league, but they are known to sometimes overextend, to be a little bit too eager in those fights, and that's exactly what happened back then. So if 4 Elements makes a mistake, there are opportunities for Twente to take over.
Yeah, definitely see now being able to just burst down people, and actually the same for Mechanics we saw, but now another good engage by Mahonix.
Yeah, but he's not dead yet. Mahonix is now going to retreat. No one-shots were there. And now it's Twente's game as the speed up coming to the QTKT. Trying to find the stun onto Jenny. Finding it eventually. Happy Pulverize coming out to the Gragas and to Jenny. And Simon Devil almost dies, but he can live due to the steals. Now, Vayne is the next target. Mauki is very low. Can he find the kill? He can't find the kill. And Mamoto next to the chopping board. And that is him going down as well. Baron is not up yet, but that's 4 kills for Twente. They can run it down. They might even be able to end the game.
Yeah, the shields from Lockhart and the Mentor E from Karma, they are just too big to get through with the Shockwave. There is still no anti-heal on the side of Scuttle Squad, which means that the Moonstone is just healing like crazy. It's already healed for 5k, and indeed,
they're going for it.
Looking for the end. Zaragonis and Mahonix are the only ones standing. They will not be able to clear because they don't have any damage. They are trying to stall. 10 seconds for Kenny. They get 1 kill slamming down. 2nd kill onto QTKT, but it's still the carries from THRLL in the game, and the spectator bug means the game has ended.
We have a spectator
bug. Wins game 1.
I did not expect Team Twente to still win that one. And oh my god, what a way to start off today's series. A game that looked to go over to the side of 4Elements finally gets taken down because of some very interesting hard engages, and Twente finding those opportunities despite all odds to take away that first game.
Yeah, they played it very well. The early team fights looked bad for them. Once they got strong, got their items, the shielding was just too strong. The healing was there, and then the damage from Z to just completely one-shot Mauki and Genny in those team fights meant that while Scuttle Squad was winning for a large portion of that game, they were not able to win the fights in when it mattered, and then it was the first game going over to THRLL.
Yeah, we saw a lot of engages going on to the 4 Element squad with Rel jumping forward and Shockwave to follow it up. But in that last fight, they didn't manage to one-shot anybody. They didn't manage to one-shot mechanics on his Sivir pick. And in that retreat, if you have no more options and ultimates available, you're just going to get run down by an Udyr Karma.
Yeah, of course. It also, I think, one in the last fight we saw that Admiral he dashed away, and that meant that Genny got stunned by QTKT. Maybe not the most optimal play, but when you are that far in the game, comms can be a bit chaotic, and then those small mistakes do show, and it shows that while Scuttle Squad is one of the favorites of this week's tournament, they are able to be taken down.
Yeah, great work, and we're looking to go into game 2 in a bit, already creating the custom game. I think they will take a couple of minutes to reflect on the game, what they have done. We won't go into an intermission just yet. I am getting invited for the custom already. I'm quickly going to grab a drink myself, but we'll be back in like 30 seconds on this screen, so don't go anywhere. You can do the same if you want to, Leavin. We need to stay hydrated for the match.
Will do.
We are already back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. One of the perks of having a sink on the same level of floors where your room is. Gotta love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're looking at this right now. Maybe we can, in the meantime, talk a little bit about last game. We talked about the engages already for 4 Elements, and that they really had to pull that off to make everything work. Was there something else that caught your eye where you were like, hey, they could have executed this better, or this was something that stood out to me?
At the end of the game, they only had one item of anti-heal, and it was the Bramble Vest on Admirodo, which is not enough when you are 30 minutes into the game against an Udyr and a Moonstaff from Karma. So maybe they should focus a bit more on actually, instead of winning all those fights, maybe look at their own builds, maybe think, okay, well, we should actually buy some anti-heal when we are against this, and then we can be able to win fights.
Yeah, the anti-heal was a very big thing that was not really taken into consideration. Karma with the Moonsaw build providing a lot of healing as well, and the Udyr, which is just a monster when combined correctly. And here you saw the power of the Udyr Karma. But I'm going to ask you a very interesting question. Actually, two. Do you think Udyr is making it out of pick and ban? And also, do you think THRLL is making it out of pick and ban?
I think Udyr might be left open by Scuttle Squad because they are also very comfortable picking it themselves, and I think they are comfortable taking the Skarner into it, as we saw this game. I do think that they might want to look for a different mid lane pick for Genny. While he is a decent Orianna player, I've always seen him more as a carry style player, right, with playing the Yone or playing something like the cast, then he's also very good at that. So if he maybe looks for a bit more damage oriented playstyle, then that will also change some things.
That is very, very true. But what I find interesting, like in all the games we've played against Four Elements, this was game 7 that we've played against them. I think Rel was picked almost every time that it was open, and this is the first time, if I'm not mistaken, that they actually managed to grab a win when Four Elements squad was playing the Rel. What made them win this time around against that pick?
I think they just knew that, well, Rel is very good at engaging, and especially with the Oriana, it's a lot of burst damage. What is good against burst damage? Shields. So let's just pick the Karma, let's build a Locket on Alistar instead of the Chem Tank, and just, well, you might engage on us and try to blow us up. We have shields and we don't die. So good luck doing that. And that's exactly what they did. We saw it in that last fight. It was a near perfect engage from Mahonix and Genny with the shockwave of 4 people, but no one went below 80% HP, and that just meant that, well, everything has been used, and then they can just run them down, and that's so they instead of banning the rel, they have learned to deal with it.
Yeah, that's very good to see, and I'm wondering if Four Elements have enough confidence to pick it up once more. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did, because that pick is still so dominant and it's very hard to deal with. But if they're doing that, they have to find some other ways to win those fights besides just having your ultimates. Because you saw in those last 2 fights, when the ultimate of Oriana and Rel don't one-shot anybody or just not work perfectly, your whole comp falls apart.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you still always have then Maoki on the vein to try to deal some damage in the return, but he just got run down by QT Katie on the Udyr and immediately taken down. So there, if you go for that type of comp, I think you want not only to have like one DPS surge, but you kind of want a second one. So maybe instead of a Gragas in the top lane, you want to look for a Renekton or a Gnar, something with a bit more damage.
Yeah, and Nar is also a very comfortable pick for Amy Bay. Has played it a couple of times in the open tour now. So there are a lot of champions that they can take away from each other, which is fun to see in draft. But now, Twente on blue side. And on blue side, there are a bunch of picks available that are very good first picks, like the Seraphine, like the Kaisa, like the Udyr, like the Twisted Fate even. You can ban them all.
Yeah, of course. I do think that some of those picks, like Twisted Fate, are not very first pick worthy because they can get countered quite hard in the mid lane. But of course, if I think Udyr and Seraphine are definitely two champions that THRLL will look to first pick. Maybe even the Karma because they are very comfortable playing it in the top lane. And while Edmamoto had the counter pick, he could not do much in the matchup. So if you ban those three, then you leave the Kaisa open, which has been banned away from mechanics most games. Um, and Kaisa just is such a strong ADC, so it's gonna be difficult to play get this draft correctly.
Yeah, we are gonna have to find out and see the bans from the side of Twente, because if you leave Udyr and Karma open, you have to pick either one of them or they're gonna get double picked by the enemy. That's a very big chance, at least, as they're getting a lot of prio nowadays. And without any further ado, we're going straight into that banning phase, and Nunu is once again getting respect banned.
Yeah, of course, Zaragonis, they don't want to give the Nunu over to him. Zaragonis has showed though that he is also very comfortable on other tank junglers like the Skarner and the Udyr who also just run at you like the Nunu does. Rel now being banned away, it did not get through draft, then we might also see an Udyr ban coming out.
I'm very happy to see Rel being banned, to be honest. I think it's a good decision. Mahoney's very good on the champion, and it's a very good combination with a multiple of champions. And there we see the Twisted Fate being banned as well, a very comfortable pick for Z.
Yeah, of course. So some comfort picks being banned away. Also the Graves, which we saw yesterday being played very well by QTKT, just completely dominating the first game and one-shotting almost everyone. Was very fun to watch. but we won't get to see it again. It has been banned in every game since, and now the Udyr is being banned away by the side of THRLL.
Yeah, they are opting to not go for that because if they first pick Udyr, the enemy is probably going to pick Karma, and you want something along with the Udyr. Kai'Sa is still open, so that might be a first pick option for Twente, and that's exactly what they're going to choose.
Yeah, of course, it will be Mechanics' first Kai'Sa game of this current tournament. I'm not sure if he has played it in last weeks, but of course, a very strong support or ADC works with all of the strong supports in the current meta, so that's why it's picked up. We might just see Skarner again from Zaragonis. He did have a bit of a quiet showing, but was always there in the fights to stun people down. And then the Zaya being picked up as the counterpick to Kai'Sa, but it might actually be the Ashe.
If it's going to be an Ashe, it's very interesting to me because it's not very much a pick I would say is the best possibility into Kai'Sa. It provides a lot of CC together with Skarner, but they opt for the Vayne instead. Vayne actually a very good flex pick because this negates you from going for a champion like Galio.
Yeah, it's actually been played by Kenny in the mid lane. It was a very fun draft to see where Scuttle Squad picked both Kai'Sa and Vayne. So it was against the Galio mid indeed, and I think some other bruisers, but Leona now being picked up. Leona can punish Vayne quite well, but Vayne also again can use the condemn to throw Leona away while Leona is in the middle of the E animation. So that will be fun to see how Maoki will play that one. Maoki had a good KDA, but he did not have any crazy outplaces, I would say, in the first game. Gnar being picked up as well, which means that there will be a counter pick in the top lane for Edmawodo.
Yeah, and I love that you were referencing that game because that game was against us. Z on the Galio was getting hard punished by the Vayne, and in the end we dropped that game against them. But Gnar getting picked up, like you said, in the top lane, blind picking Gnar. They don't want to give away either jungle or mid, and that's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, that does mean though that they might be very comfortable on it. We now see Galio being picked up probably for Fanny. He has played it a lot, but can also, of course, be played by Mahonix as a counterpick into Leona. Because when Leona jumps in, you can just use your taunt and then taunt up Leona as soon as she's there, and then basically lock her down for a bit while Vayne does a lot of damage.
Yeah, Vayne can still go to either top or ADC. She's probably going to be played in ADC now. And I can say the same thing about Galio. He can go to mid or to support. So they have a lot of options to flex around in the side of 4Elements. And what's going to give it away is that fourth pick of 4Elements Scuttle Squad. And we're going to see what happens there as Lilia, Camille and Zoe are going to get banned.
Yeah, Camille, of course, one of the counter picks to Gnar. You don't have to give that over. I think Edmawodi had a very good showing on some Camille games in, I think it was week 2. After that, he's not really played it that much. Karma being banned away now, they do not want to give that over. Of course, Fanny has also played a lot of Karma mid. Mahonix can play it as well, and giving that much shielding over to a Vayne, that will be very scary to deal with. But instead, now it's Wukong being picked up as the counter pick to Gnar.
Yeah, and Wukong is a very good pickup, good against Gnar, and it's also decently fine into their composition that they already have, with a great follow-up with Galio and Skarner to initiate the fights. Fiddlesticks is going to get hovered, they do need some AP, and if it's going to be the Fiddlestick, the gates are actually open. That's going to mean that they're going to need an AD mid laner or maybe a bit of a control mage in mid, because you normally want to do AD AP. I don't see a lot of AD champions left open. It would be something like the Lucian or the Yone, but I don't think you want to opt for that right now. Can be the case to punish at Galio.
Yeah, of course, Fiddlesticks also does very well into the low range comp of Scuttle Squad. One fun interaction is also when if Skarner would run at you, you just fear Skarner and then he turns around and runs away. Support now seems to be the last pick for Scuttle Squad, which means that the Galio will just go into the mid lane.
And I love this pickup by Twente. Set mid against the Galio is completely fine, but they don't do it for the laning phase. They do it for the amount of engage that 4 Elements has, with the Wukong diving in your backline, with the Galio following up, with the Skarner trying to walk in front of you. If they come close to you, set ults them away into your backline, and what are you going to do? A great disengage option chosen by Twente.
Yeah, but we now see that maybe it's the Lulu mid instead who is able to harass Set quite a bit in lane, and with being in mid lane gets the moon stuff built a lot faster. And Galio, well, Galio can be played in the mid lane and get a lot of gold. He does not necessarily need it. He can always just use his abilities and his ultimate to combo together with Wukong. One nice thing I do like about the Galio is that when he ults one of his teammates, he applies the magic shield from his W to everyone in the area, which can be quite a big shield against the Fiddlesticks ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. And I am waiting and dying to see how Fiddlesticks is going to do. Fiddlesticks is also one of those weird champions that QTKT loves to play. Because QTKT loves to play the Skarner himself. He loves to play Fiddlesticks, champions that are a little bit out of meta, but can still have a lot of impact. And a lot of people don't know how to play against it.
Yeah, of course, Fiddlesticks can be a nightmare in solo queue where teams definitely don't have the communication to track the Fiddlesticks. In competitive, it's a bit more difficult to play Fiddlesticks because of the amount of vision there will be placed down by the side of Scuttle Squad. So it's more difficult for Fiddlesticks to get a 5-man fear ultimate off, but can still just, if he gets a nice location, even if he gets spotted, he can still deal a lot of damage in the middle of 5 people.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in the fights right away. He wants the enemy or your own team to start off the fights and then follow up. So what is going to happen a lot, what we're going to see, is that Fog of War and Vision is going to be the main thing Fiddlesticks wants to take care of. He needs to be basically invisible at all times. The enemy cannot find out where he is, so he can follow up with that big ultimate, what you were talking about, throw out the fear and the stopwatch or the Zonias to make himself untargetable, do so much damage, and hope your team can clean up.
Yeah, definitely. I do think that indeed the team fight of THRLL is quite good, but Scuttle Squad also has quite a nice wombo combo with maybe the Wukong jumping into the backline, knocking everyone up, and then having a Galio ult behind it to just CC everyone for a long time while Vayne still does a lot of damage. And now instead of the Orianna, it's the Lulu, which means that will be less damage in the mid lane, but with Wukong being in the top lane, Scuttle Squad will still have a lot of damage.
And there's one interaction which I really want to see because it's so goddamn funny. If Fiddlesticks fears someone, they run the opposite side. If a Skarner runs at you with 1 billion movement speed and you fear him, he runs just as fast away. I really want to
Yeah,
see that.
yeah, I'm actually not sure if that works with Skarner, but that's especially with Yi when he has his ult, because I think the fear also counts as a slow, so Skarner will not have the insane amount of movement speed. But for example, when it's Master Yi, he gets an ult, he gets slow remove from on his ultimate, so he can will just like sprint away, which is fun to see. Skarner might be a bit less fun to see, but it's still, of course, very effective against him because the Skarner, everything he wants to do is run at the enemy team, and if you get turned around, well, you have basically nothing to do.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting, and I cannot wait to see this match unfold. And I actually think this time around Twente has the better draft.
Yeah, especially it's very difficult for the side of Scuttleskull to get on top of mechanics on the Kaisa because of the amount of peel. Leona will just be standing next to mechanics and stunning everyone that runs at them. Um, same for QTKT with the Fair, and Set will also do the same thing with his ultimate. And then Nar, if he's in Mega Nar, he can throw a whole team away as well. So I think Scuttle Squad definitely needs to just rely on getting flanks or just straight up getting Maoki fed and going for a good 5v5 where Maoki just burns through the front line while Mechanics does it. Is not as fast at doing that.
Okay, let's grab up all the sheets, and we have done so. And we see actually a level 1 thing unfolding already. Twente is opting to go for a bit of a sneaky topside invade with 5 people. Let's see if they do it correctly. Yes, they do. You walk onto that little pocket there, because if someone is in the bush, they can't see you up until now. But there is nobody in the bush. So they're... Oh, that's a double ward placed down there, and the meme emos are gonna get pushed out as well. For Elemis doesn't know where they are. Is this gonna be a level 1 fight?
We might see, of course, but it seems like both teams will just miss each other. Sometimes, okay, Zaragonis is recalling outside of the bush, but is just getting back to base, which means that they do not get any fight whatsoever. What I sometimes see or I've seen in YouTube videos from Korean solo queue is that instead of walking next to the red buff, you walk like the wall behind it to sort of collapse onto people standing in the bush, which THRLL did not do this game. If they went for that, they might have spotted the Sargonis and Atmawodo.
I was about to say, I was a bit disappointed there was not a ward dropped in the red buff, but Z decided to still do it after a bit of time. So they know now that Skarner is starting on the bottom side of the map, and QTKT passes down as well and does the same thing.
Yeah, of course. Now, I think in the mid lane and top lane it will be a bit more difficult to get prio for QTKT, but I do think that QTKT has a lot more healthier clear than Zaragonis on the Skarner, which means that if a fight were to break out, even if you don't necessarily have prio, you will be able to stall the Skarner for quite a while.
Yeah, and they're now opting to go for level 2 as fast as possible, but for Animus gets level 2 first, so they cannot take advantage of that. Mahonix looking for a possible flank or do something with his taunt, which he leveled up because you can see it from his passive, but nothing much happened so far.
Yeah, of course, especially in the early levels, it's a bit difficult for Kai'Sa to play because of how low range she is. That means that Mahonix can always just dash in and then start using the W to get a taunt onto mechanics. Slimy Devil can use his stun to stop that, but then will get taunted up himself because he has to go into melee range. Both strongers now on the top side. Zaragonis clearing it a bit faster, and we see now trading on bot lane.
Yeah, nothing much happens, just equal trade. Zenith Blade wasn't popped by Leona, so it's not a very extended fight. So just trading a little bit with each other.
Yeah, of course, Mahonix getting the taunt off means that he is. It's actually might not look like a big win now, but Slimy Devil was forced to use both of his potions while Mahonix still has both of his in his inventory. Now we see in the mid lane trying to get some damage onto Zaragonis, but with Genny being there as well, nothing much will happen.
Yeah, Skarner went to go and do top Scuttle Crab and now goes to bot Scuttle Crab as well. So it's a double Scuttle Crab start for Skarner. That's very big for him. It's not what you want to see. Very well pathed by Skarner.
Yeah, but that does mean that QTKT knows that, okay, well, if Zaragonis was at the scuttle that fast, that means he has not done his crux. So QTKT just goes up there to clear him. And Mamodo completely pushed in for now. And he has to actually goes in for the extended trade, but has to be careful because Fiddlesticks will be right behind him.
And a Flash Sphere coming onto him as well, and there's now very low under tower. QTKT tanking it, but cannot find the kill. Did force the Flash out of Wukong, but had to trade his own.
Yeah, now we see a bit of a taunt, but nothing else happening. At Modo, of course, he used his clone to... Okay, that was a fun interaction. In the bot lane, now with Slimy Devil almost dead, but the same can be said for Mahonix. Mechanics flashes for Maoki, jumps over the wall and gets out. Mahonix actually goes in for the re-engage, and Maoki has the press the attack and picks up the first blood.
A bit more than he could chew. It was a fun interaction in the beginning. Zenith Blade connecting, getting Maoki under tower, and turret shot connecting as well, but it was not enough. Now Hex Flash is going for it, but he's not going for it. I was waiting for the come down into the stun. And that's the first kill picked up by Vayne.
Yeah, it was a fun interaction. Slimy Devil got condemned by Maoki a bit too early, so he did fly all the way back, but then flew all the way back into the fight. But that doesn't mean Mahonix had time to just stand there, charge up the taunt, and get damage down in the mid lane. Now, Genny has to be a bit careful. See, forcing a fight, Genny can just run under his own turret. But C getting a bit minion blocked and tanking a turret shot too many.
Yeah, he's pushing the wave in right now. You see Galio pathing mid to maybe help Skarner if you want to go for that. But deciding not to, just walking, but oh, the teleport is getting in right now. Galio is pathing all the way around. We might see an instant gank coming down. No, we don't. Galio is pathing bot side.
Yeah, Atmawodo now pushing in into ABV, but he did use the TP and now has to be a bit careful because he is quite low and ABV is getting close to his level 6 mark, where with the ultimate can get very strong influence in the mid lane. Genny now based in TP back to lane can get some prio again. Prio still in the bot lane, but it's I think the whole wave will just be picked up by Malky and Mahonix, which means that there won't be a big farm lead, but now Zeragonis has to be a bit careful in the river.
Yeah, QTKT looking for something right here. Is pressing the ultimate and the fear comes down already. There's still flash available for Lulu, but she can't even block it if Z immediately kills her instead. She didn't even have time to flash away.
Yeah, it was very nice change to see by QTKT and C. Of course, the fair made Genny walk towards the minions where she could get the E off the facebreaker, I think it's called, and then um, just managed to get the easy kill onto Genny, which means that now they have complete prio over the river and will pick up the first Drake.
A plasma surge connecting onto Galio, but they're not gonna follow that up yet. And yes, Atmavoda looking for a bit of a trade against Amy but he has done quite well to counteract the Wukong counter pick and is even CS up.
Yeah, of course, that is also slightly because of the gank from QTKT early on, which forced the flash out from Atmawodo. But indeed, normally you would Wukong gets picked as the counter pick to Gnar, but I think if Gnar just plays it very safe in the early levels, um, it can be quite an easy lane later on.
Yeah, he's doing very well for himself. We do have a small lead now for Twente as Wukong pops his ultimate and might be looking for something else. Still has a second charge, Qs forward and does that as well. Now we have a teleport coming in from Z, trying to do what he can. He has ultimate available. Skarner is there on the backhand side. Can he find the stun into the wall? And that's already a kill onto Amamoto. Yes, it's going to be picked up by Amy Vey. Saragonis couldn't ult anybody in time, wasn't in range. So that's a teleport for a kill.
Yeah, of course, they wanted to go for the play onto AMV. But now in the bot lane, we first get to see just some damage onto Mahonix. But in the top lane, at Modo, he went a bit too far when Zaragonis was still not in range. And C having the TP advantage means that he could just TP into the lane behind Atmawodo and secure a kill.
Yeah, that's very well done. A good reaction. I think he did miss one small wave, but he still has a major CS lead, and now the first part of his gourd ring can completed as well. The Iron Spike Whip.
Yeah, of course, the Iron Spike means that you can clear waves quite fast. You can just set Phase Breaker and then use the W and then Iron Spike and then just poof, wave gone, which means that it's a bit more difficult for Fane to get prio in the ranged versus melee matchup. Jungle, still it's Zaragonis a camp ahead, but it does not mean a lot because if you're equal levels, while Zaragonis can do a lot in picks, I think QTKT will still be better in team fights, so being able to stay up in farm for QTKT is definitely very good.
Yeah, it's looking very good for Twente right now. They have the lead that they wanted to, and now they have the ease of execution. So it's very nice to see that happening. As Rift Herald is going to spawn. Oh, sorry, not Rift Herald has already been taken by the Fiddlesticks. I completely missed that. So let's see what's going to happen here in the mid lane. Skarner still has ultimate, but Z can just walk it out.
Yeah, of course. Already having the Mercury threats means the slow duration is just quite a lot shorter. Same for the polymorph, so you can just slowly run away. Top lane, Atmawodo still trying to get some damage back. We see that Amy is just a bit too tanky with the early Ninja Tabis. So it is difficult for Admiral to win these trades, but he does go in with the ultimate. But nothing will happen.
Finding the movement speed right now. Wukong has flash, and you might need to flash away from this because the procs keep going on, but he can just use the W. The flash forward and the flash to the side. Can he find the kill? He can find the last auto attack, and he doesn't walk out. Barely manages to get out of that alive. Maybe a bit too aggressive, but it was a fun interaction and a fun game play in the top lane.
Yeah, of course, Atmomoto's second ultimate just ran out, so he was unable to get that off. But I do think it's definitely in the favor of Amy Way, because there was a huge wave building up, which now just crashes the turret, which means that Yamamoto loses even more gold and experience. So Amy Way definitely playing this lane very well.
Lulu putting on some shades. Oh, now we see a Crow Storm going in, flashing forward. The fear comes in onto Galio, and can he die before the fight happens? No, Skarner flashing forward. Ulting the Fiddle 6 away. QTKT doesn't have stopwatch yet. Amy teleports in as well. Mahonix is still alive. Now Ultimate's in, but doesn't hit anybody. Mechanics tries to go forward, flashing here. Finally gets a kill onto Mahonix. Has to run away with the E now, but Maoki doing a lot of damage to the third proc, but Amy finding the kill as well. He doesn't have ultimate available, but now here is Z. Can he find something? Look at the flash forward. Find the E onto Xeragonis. Xeragonis is dead as well. Now teleport comes in from Wukong. Atmomoto trying to do what he can. Lulu is here. Ultimate on the Atmomoto. Amy tries to get away. Finds a double stun, but I don't think it is enough. Jumps over the wall, but Atmomoto still has W in with a lot of bit of seconds, and Mininar goes, and he's fine. Oh, what happened there? What a fiesta in the bot lane.
That was a 3-for-3 trade and was very messy, of course. QTK, he's trying to start it off with an ultimate fear onto Maoki and Mohonix, but they were a bit too far back, so he flashed forward, but with Zaragonis immediately being there, QTK just got taken out because he got ulted and CC'd, and then you're basically unable to do anything. Mohonix trying to get away from Mechanics means that Mechanics has to burn his flash, while Maoki still has his and gets a trade. But now Mechanics is still a bit too far up.
He doesn't have ultimate, but he is going to go 1-for-1. Don't steal it. Okay, good job. You never know when he does that, and he does that a lot. There was so much going on last team fight that I lost my ability to cast properly. But the dragon goes on to 4 elements now.
Yeah, I think though that trade in bot lane is worth for Atmomoto. He just wants to get some more kills for himself so he can start to trade into AMV more efficiently, and he denies some ways for Mechanics on the Kaisa, but it does mean now in the top lane that the first surge will probably get taken down.
Yeah, putting that gold onto Gnar, and this reminds me a little bit of yesterday when Gnar was also extremely far ahead with all the gold he provided into him, and he's already 1.2k up. As Xeragonis now with the Faceless procs just ult Slimy Devil away. I don't know if that's the target that you want to. There's not much they can do in return. Solar Flare coming down, can't find a target, and a Condemned coming down to Z as Amy Vey is just fighting against Wukong, ulting him into the wall, but it's not enough. But he's diving on the tower, backs off in time.
Yeah, of course, while Leona is very tanky, with the true damage coming through from Maoki, they are able to burn through him. And this does mean that, okay, well, you are behind a bit in gold, but I think the gold for Scottish Squad is in a better spot, because having the gold onto Maoki means that he will be able to deal a lot of damage to actually burn through Amy and C on the Gnar and Set, respectively.
Mechanics ulting forward and finding that kill, the 5th stack onto the Skarner, who had a surprising amount of move speed to almost get away again.
Yeah, of course, Skarner, very speedy boy, especially if he has the chem tank. That now Amy is a bit far forward, he tries to get... he does get out, because Maoki is a bit too slow in checking the bush, so Amy gets out with his life, and now it's THRLL onto the mid lane turret, but they won't be able to take it down.
Yeah, the next play looks to be on the bottom side of the map as they're focusing that tower right now. Amy was waiting in the bush for Abamoto, misses the Q so he doesn't get the slow proc onto him, but finds an auto nonetheless, and that procs gets to dying. Mahoney's coming in with the heroic entrance now, and Amy is already very low, almost Mega Knight on the bottom side. Mechanics wraps up the kill. In the meantime, Amy jumps away, and maybe he's out. Finds the slow with the Q again. The Skarner is going to run at him now. A very speedy Scorpion, as you said before. Can he find him in time? Hits the slow just on the edge. The stun comes down, and it's very close. Can he walk away? And the Yordle walks out.
Yeah, indeed, while that was happening, Genny walked into the bot lane and just got ulted by Fiddlesticks. So you can just run away from Maoki. So it is a kills in favor for Twente, but Scots would now do have prio on the Herald if they want to take it to maybe take down the mid turret.
They decide to not go for it anyway, while 5 people were indeed based on Twente. Instead, they just go for the safe play, take the jungle, had set up a little bit of vision already to go and contest it in the next fight if that is going to be the case.
Yeah, of course, the fights will still be quite close, but Mechanics picking up some kills now for himself means that Maoki is not that far ahead anymore. I will check it. They are actually Maoki's only 300 gold ahead. That means he can have an extra dagger, which does not change a lot in team fights. So now I do think that team fights will be in favor for Twente, unless Skull Squad gets a really nice combo combo.
QTKT gets spotted out, so he cannot look for that engage anymore. And now the build path of Kai'Sa has changed a little bit. Normally you would go Kraken Slayer or Guild Force into a Serrated Dirk to get your Q evolve, but since the changes of Phantom Dancer, which now builds with 2 longswords and a zeal instead of 2 daggers and a zeal, people opt to go for that, and here it's also very good.
Yeah, of course, giving though that attack speed buff when you auto attack 4 times is really nice on those teamfight AD carries like Kai'Sa and Vayne, who just want to deal as many auto attacks of damage as possible. Amy Way in the top lane just casually taking down the turret while Genny tries to do something to stop him, but can't really do any damage to the Gnar. Already has the holster right breaker. If you only have a Moonstone, you're just not going to be able to do enough damage.
Yeah, and it's looking very good for Twente. They have the tempo in this game. Gold lead extending quite a bit as well. Have the prio over the map. Look at the vision in the top side of the enemy jungle. There is so much being set down. They know exactly if AMV is in danger or not. So they have a lot of freedom to go and wherever they please.
Yeah, but now Sargon is laying in the bush waiting for someone to face check, but Slimy Devil with the Oracle Lens means that Sargonus gets spotted out before he wants to go in. So they will just back off. No picks or fights happening yet. It's still only 2 Drakes. Now QTKT picking up the second Drake for themselves, 3rd Drake in the game. It is an Ocean Soul, which I think will be very big for both teams if they can get it.
Yeah, both teams it would work very nicely on. I don't think there's really an edge on any side in particular, so it is a very good thing to grab those things up for yourself and delay a possible steal further and further.
Yeah, of course, the Herald is still up. Something's coming down on it, but having a Herald this late in the game while you are behind does not do a lot. Sometimes when you are ahead, you can use it to create pressure to take the Baron, or even pick up the Baron if you're very far ahead, and then use the Baron and the Herald together to just push down one lane and end the game.
Yeah, they're going for the Rift Herald right now. Might as well pick it up. But the play's indeed already gone, so it's not a very big lead you get from it, but it provides tempo, and tempo is what you need to match Tventis.
Yeah, of course, with the Rift Herald, they will be able to take down the mid surge in their first surge of the game, get some more gold back in their pockets, so they will be able to contest in the next couple of fights when the Drakes spawn.
And Amy Way is just split pushing godlike Yordle right now. He is everywhere on the map trying to get those turrets further and further down, and he's not getting punished for it even once this game.
Yeah, of course, it is very difficult to punish a Gnar when he is that far ahead. Admin just does not do enough damage to trade into him properly, and also it's very scary if you don't have vision, because then Fiddlesticks could just be standing in the jungle right next to the Gnar, and then if you engage onto the Gnar, Fiddlesticks is there and you just die.
Yeah, he has to play a lot with the vision. He is going to get spotted out now by the control ward on the top side, so they might actually look for something here on the Gnar. And Scorn is already pathing bot side. They do spot him out, however, so Amy backs off immediately. And I have to say, the vision game of Twente is very, very on point this game.
Yeah, definitely. Their vision scores also a lot higher than those of Scuttle Squad. That it does mean though, because it's a lot more difficult for Scuttle Squad to actually face check into the jungle because of the strength of a Fiddlesticks or maybe a Leona as well. We now see the engage in the mid lane.
Yeah, and ultimate's coming down. Solo Flare also. Mahoney's trying to get away, but he's already dead. Z on a killing spree right now. Maoki had to pop the ultimate as well. CP coming out from Amy as well, but on the backhand side, Amamoto finds a great engage. 3 people with the knockup, and the second one goes on through as well. Maoki almost finds a kill onto QTK. He delays it a little bit with a stopwatch. Xeragonis getting that kill onto SSQ Jenny, but on the backhand side, same another fight in the senior blade. Xeragonis can just get out with his life, and that's a 2-for-2 trade.
Yeah, it was a nice play on the backside of that fight, of course, with Edmawater with the perfect flank, being able to get the 4-man knock up twice, and then Maoki can just unleash all of his damage. QTKT stalling it a bit with the stopwatch, and then just Z being a bit tanky. Now Zaragoza still goes 2-4 up.
Heroic Entrance coming down, but they can't find the knockup yet. Xeragonis was very slow with that Stride Breaker. So Heroic Entrance had to come out to save him. But in the end, that still goes to the favor of Twente. That was a great TP flank by Atmawodo.
Yeah, of course. And they indeed lose some pressure around the Baron. They only have 1 or 2 wards in their own jungle and then a control ward all the way in near the top lane, which means that it's still very difficult to actually check if the team of Twente is taking down the Baron, which they can do very fast, or if they are just setting a trap somewhere. So I think that is where THRLL will look now to play the game. Maybe start just the Baron dance.
Yeah, fight around objectives. Dragon spawning in 1 minute as well, so they might delay it a little bit to go for the dragon instead. Grab the third one up for themselves to get themselves into soul point and then dance with the Baron. We're gonna see what they're opting for. For now, they're just setting up vision and clearing it out in the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, of course, the vision game is very strong, as you already said multiple times, which indeed means that it's difficult for Scuttle Squad to push up and actually get the turret. They now drop the Herald in the mid lane, but it will just not get a charge off to take down the turret. So Scuttle Squad stays at 0 turrets, and it will be very difficult for them to take down any turrets.
Thanks for the 25 gold. And Amy goes forward and now ults Xeragonis into the wall immediately. Lulu ult comes out. Solar Flare hitting onto Maoki. He's very slow right now. Xenoblade cannot connect quite yet, and Xeragonis gets out with his life as well. Now Atmavodo on the side trying to run away, getting feared, and he's very low. Z going around him, pressing the ultimate and getting him back. Almost tries to kill, and yes, he manages to get it with the face breaker. Breaks the face of Atmavodo. Now they're pathing to the dragon.
Yeah, that snipe with the true damage just as the shield from the Locket ran out meant that Edmawater gets taken down, and now it's a 5-4 with the Fiddlesticks ultimate still up for Twente. Then means they can just take down this their third Drake, which means they are now on Ocean Soul Point. But as we saw last game, Soul Point does not mean everything, because Scuttle Squad, they lost last game when they were in Soul Point, lost 1 fight and lost the game.
Yeah, it's going to get closer and closer, but I have to be honest here. Last time that happened, there was already a pretty open map for Twente to go and run it down, but Scuttle Squad this game have not taken a single turret yet.
Yeah, indeed, so it's a bit more difficult for them to do that same play. They are still only 6k gold behind, which is a lot, but it's not impossible to get back into the game, especially because of the Skarner and the Lulu and the Galio not really needing that much gold. They can just funnel most of their resources onto Atmawodo and Maoki, and then still try to go even in team fights.
Yeah, and team fights is actually something that you kind of want to force right now if you're Twente, because you're so far ahead, you can just straight up fight, and you don't have to rely on only your ultimate abilities to do so. Fiddlesticks is going to have to look for a good position to utilize his kit the best way possible, as AMV is once again in a side lane.
Yeah, of course. Now actually Amiwodo is a level up, so that means that he has been farming quite well. Now Zargonis also running in, gets the ult. Amiwodo already used his first ult, but now gets a second knock up. AMV gets Meganar now, so we'll be able to just disengage and base out 2 ultimates from the side of Scuttle Squad, while the rest of the team is just immediately doing Baron. Scuttle Squad is unable to contest this, and it will be a free Baron going over to THRLL Academy Twente.
Yeah, this was very weirdly done by 4Elements. They see AMV in the side lane and they had no vision on any other members of Twente. And they show with 2 people there, don't find the kill. That means Twente just say, hey, just your jungler and top laner are there. So we're just gonna sneak the Baron away.
Yeah, of course, that now AMV, even like he's fearless going, chasing down Amiwodo, does maybe not know that Maoki is right in the wings, but the longer he stalls everyone in the bot lane, the more turrets the rest of his team can take in the mid lane. He tries to jump out.
He lives!
Maoki, he actually lives. Okay, that is a disaster for Scotland Squad now. They already lost 1 inhib turret. The inhib is being targeted away, and Fiddlesticks is going forward like Racing Mahonix, trying to get the re-engage, but has to jump away now. Amiwodo has no ultimate to get to anything. Same for Maoki, so it's going to be a free inhib and maybe the fight as well. Twente might even just look for a second inhib and maybe the base.
Yeah, they're opting to go for the second tower and second inhib as well. And AMV getting away from that flanking fight by the Vayne and the Wukong. Unfortunately, I didn't catch it on stream, but I will look back at it if I have the opportunity to do so. But that was a greatly played fight by AMV 2 times over to get them 2 inhibitors.
Yeah, of course, being able to stall out the damage from Maoki and Amiwodo, and also making sure that they no longer have any ultimates, means that even if you are strong, Vayne really needs that ultimate to be able to dance around in team fights. QTKT, he just ulted, flashed, protobelt in all the way onto Genny to take him down, and without the shielding, well, Mahonix can jump in, but they won't survive for long, same for Zargonas. Then when Maoki and Amiwodo came back, they don't have any cooldowns to really do much, so it's 2 nicely played free inhibs for Twente.
Yeah, and this is a completely different match against 4Elements squad than we have seen in previous qualifiers. They're taking the lead, they're being proactive, and honestly, I almost see no world in where 4Elements takes back this game, and with that, the series.
Yeah, of course. Now being able to get back from the first game. The first game they were losing for a while, but then get that good fight in the late game. Now they are just completely dominant, 10k ahead, while Skarner now ulting C.
Heroic entrance coming down, and now there's a flank on the backhand side. Mechanics trying to find the damage onto Amiwodo. The shield procs, but it's not enough. Mechanics finding that kill. AMV has put that Zhonya's down. Honix is very low as well. Fleeing for his life, but he can flee all he wants, but that's not enough. And Mechanics is coming to run you down. Hopefully getting and then looking for a pentakill as well. But AMV doesn't want anything to do with that. He grabs the kill for himself. Thinks he deserves that one, and he does, while Z is just ending the game.
Well, it might not be a pentakill, but it does mean that they now knock out the tournament favorites all the way into the quarterfinals, getting to the semifinals for themselves, and they qualify for the closed circuit of the Benelux Open Tour.
They have qualified, they have done it faster than we anticipated as well against 4Elements. Let me get out of this game and get onto a different screen right now. And we love to see it. We managed to do it. The first 2 qualifiers didn't look like it, but now in a dominating fashion, just like yesterday, they take 2 wins over 4Elements.
Yeah, they are still undefeated in this Open Tour, and they will definitely be looking to take actually the victory in this last Open qualifier. Very well played by THRLL Academy Twente. Game 1 looked a bit shaky, but Game 2 was just completely dominant from start to finish.
Exactly that, and I'm going to drop back the music. And I'm very, very happy to say we have qualified. I'm going to look if I can yoink one of the players for a very small interview, and I'm going to peer pressure him into joining.
Yeah, while you are doing that, I will look up how the other quarterfinals are going because one of the closest quarterfinals, I think, is the Zen IT versus Dynasty Academy match. Both teams stuck at 200 points, needing to get into the finals to have a chance to get into the closed circuit. Okay, so it seems that Starland Gaming has won their first game against Glorious Gaming and are still in the second game. Zen IT won the first game against Dynasty Academy, and Ekazulu Tribe won 2-0 over 7am LOL Academy.
That's very interesting to see already. And Starland and Glorious Gaming still fighting and battling it out in the two of them to see who's gonna match us in the semi-final. Prima. Okay, we are having mechanics. Oh, wait, no. Okay, we are having mechanics. Great. Let's see. Oh, wait. I can't invite him yet. 1 second. Yes. Create group DM, and he should be here shortly now. Hey, Ian.
Hello.
Hello. Congratulations with a
Thanks.
2-0 victory over 4 Elements. And
Finally, finally.
I was about to say, you faced him 2 times before, but today you won quite dominantly, especially in the second game. What was different from the last qualifiers?
I don't want to be rude, but I think the jungle for them is like way different to play. Um, I like in my opinion and what I see from them, it feels like their jungle, the other jungler is doing the shot calling and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they played at least bot lane. They played pretty well again, both lanes. But yeah, both our solo lanes were winning hard. So I think that's why we won. At least the second game is why it looked pretty easy, but they had pretty good scaling, so it was kind of scary.
Yeah, in the first game, it actually looked like it was going downhill quite fast, but in the end, you still managed to take away that victory with a quick end after a lost fight from the Rel and Oriana. Were you
Yeah.
anticipating that Rel again?
Yeah, I think sometimes we just like we play fights too quick. Like one time we caught, I think it was Gragas, and we chunked him pretty hard, and then everyone was like, "Oh, let's go!" And then we ran into the Vayne, and, but I think we should like let Vayne run into us so Victor can do his everything on Vayne, and then Vayne can't really play the fight.
Yeah, 2 times over in draft, we actually saw the Skarner Vayne being picked up quite early. And it was kind of surprising to us to see it that fast. Do you think that's in an overall like a good decision to have that Vayne picked up so early in the draft?
No, not really. I think yeah, I think it's bad, but like Vayne is good into Kai'Sa, and because they were West Side the second game, they had double counter pick on the bot lane. So for the bot lane, it's pretty good. But like you pick Fiddlesticks, and yeah, Vayne is just so hard to play against Fiddle. You have to play so safe, wait for his ulti. So yeah, and we of course pick a lot of range champions. So we pick Gnar. It's pretty good against Vayne too. So
Yeah, Nar was kind of dominating in the side lanes, grabbing turrets left and right, just like yesterday. And
yeah,
I kind of want to ask because I feel like I have an opinion of this. Who do you think was the MVP of your team in this series?
for sure. The second game was for sure Amy Vey. I think the first game Z played pretty well that game. Like both games he just kind of out dominate his mid laner, so that's pretty good for the game. Like the second game, enemy gets counter pick and he's like up like 50 CS as fucking set, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, against the Lulu, which is supposed to
Yeah.
win lane against him, at least early.
Yeah, and of course the first game, like, he based on Karma, so it's hard for him to get an MVP there.
That is very true, very true.
Yeah.
You can be a little bit tilted because I feel like very last fight, he kind of stole your penta there.
Nah, yeah, but Skarner was like playing for KDA all game, so I couldn't catch him anyway.
Fair enough, fair enough. I was looking at the Open Tour Benelux other matches that are playing right now. THRLL is 1-0 up against Glorious Gaming, and I think they're about to win their second game, if I am correct.
I think
Gaming.
it was close, but yeah, not sure.
Oh, was it close? Okay, then.
Yeah, it's like 50 minutes. Yeah. I hope GG can make it 1-1. Would be nice.
That would be very fun. But THRLL Gaming is number 1 in the standings right now. Do you actually want to face them just to like get a little bit of an idea now you've qualified already?
Yeah, it would be nice, of course. Like, I think we can win from every team, but a rematch against GG would be fun as well. So I don't really mind, and I think it's like 100% that we qualified already. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter against who we play.
I just hope we see some very fun games. Thank you very much for your time, and I think you have to prepare for your next possible opponent in a bit. So I'll release you back to your team. Thank you very much for taking the time, and please peer pressure Emil as well for the next interview.
Yeah, we tried, but he didn't. He didn't want to. He doesn't like it. So thank you as well for the interview and for the cast.
No worries. Good luck further today, and we'll see you in the next games.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Yes, Leavin, and we will have a small intermission, I think, because we are still waiting for the result of THRLL versus Glorious Gaming. And if that's going to be 1-1, it's going to be an hour break, and otherwise we will be back shortly. But we're going out right now for a small little break, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I will update the Twitch stream as we go. And I would hope to see you all back shortly with the semi-finals. We'll be facing either THRLL or Glorious Gaming.
Goodbye.
A perfect outro.
Yeah.